Hello and welcome to this webinar on Building Revolution, Smart and Sustainable Buildings of Tomorrow with Forbes Middle East in partnership with Schneider Electric. I'm Ramia Faraj. With the latest technologies and innovative solutions, the building and the construction industry is working towards achieving net zero emissions while boosting energy efficiency. There is an immense focus on creating smart and resilient urban communities through the integration of intelligent, eco-friendly solutions and innovative tech-driven systems that positively contribute to climate change. Today, we have two industry experts who will examine the strategic approach that's being taken to revolutionize the real estate and residential landscape in this regard. Mr. Mohammed Shaheen is Cluster President for KSA and Yemen at Schneider Electric, a sustainability advocate and a seasoned leader with over 18 years of experience in energy management and industrial automation. Mohammed has held several senior positions in the company, driving growth and transformation across different regions and lines of business. And Mr. Ian Williamson is Group Chief Projects Delivery Officer at the Red Sea Development Company, a closed joint stock company wholly owned by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. Ian leads the delivery of the planning, design, and construction of the Red Sea and Amala projects, two of the world's most ambitious luxury tourism developments. Thank you so much for being with us today, gentlemen. Now, Mr. Shaheen, I'd like to start by asking you, how has Schneider Electric's innovative developments powered by renewable energy helped transform the roadmap to a net zero urban landscape in the region?
Okay, good morning, Ramia, and thanks for the question. I can see that now globally, the renewables such as solar and wind are set to become the most generative electricity green lines, where it is supposed to be 1/3 of the global generation by the 2025. Accordingly, Schneider Electric, as a company who is focused on the energy management as well as the industrial automation, and to be advocate for the sustainability and reducing the carbon dioxide emission, we gave a great focus on that part, supporting namely the government as well as the big investors inside the countries to be able to reduce our carbon dioxide emission, to ensure that we do have the global net zero target. And since we are here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we see that the government are putting a goal to have a net zero by 2060, which is really one of the best goals we see across the region, where there is a real focus in this country. Schneider Electric, with all what we have from solutions and kind of partnership with other entities and companies to achieve the same goal. For example, in June 2022, we had a global agreement with Hitachi to focus on the energy transformation and energy transition to be more green, to ensure that we achieve a net zero and decarbonization goals of the countries. Few months back as well, inside the kingdom here, we had a new division just to work as a consultation division for all companies and for the government on a specific to how to achieve the sustainability goals, how to ensure we reduce the carbon dioxide emission. It's a big journey where it needs the collaboration from the governmental side as well as the private sector, by putting the innovative solution to be more smart, to advocate for more for the electrification, to advocate more for the green energies, to have the best energy efficiency sites, especially in the buildings, in the smart buildings, in the smart industry. This will take us to our goal.
So working with the private and the public sector alike to reach those net zero goals. And Mr. Williamson, as a pioneering developer based in Saudi, what innovative steps have been taken by RSG to ensure eco-conscious construction in alignment with the UN's SDGs?
Yes, so good to meet you, Rami. A little bit of context on the project. It's a 28,000 square kilometer geography, so it's the scale of Belgium in terms of size, so a country scale. Because with my wife being Lebanese, I could also say it's 3 times the size of Lebanon, to to give people a context of the enormity of the project, we have 90 islands in an archipelago and over 200 kilometers of shoreline, of coastline, totally untouched by mankind. You know, an extraordinary wilderness and pristine destination in Saudi Arabia. And so one of the first starting points was limiting the number of visitors to that destination. And this went back to 2017 at the inception of the project. The target has always been to limit visitor count to 1 million per year, despite clearly something the size of 28,000 square kilometers could house many more. So reducing footfall, therefore reducing potential damage by that footfall itself to the coastal edges, to nutrient enhancement in the lagoon, etc. We took a bold decision to go for 100% renewable energy. So we'll be the largest renewable destination, I think, in the world, certainly the largest battery systems in the world for the time being when they're completed early next year. So 100% renewable, mostly off solar. There could be a wind contribution later in the project, but it's a solar destination so far. And you'll see vast solar arrays already installed, battery systems going in. We're going live with the first part of that renewable energy system in December this year, and then for the whole phase one of the destination by December 23. We're only developing a very small fraction of that huge geography, probably 0.01%. And out of the 90 islands, we're leaving 75% untouched. So, you know, we're very driven by the 17 SDGs is a guideline. Clearly, they're not a standard, they're not prescriptive. They set an overarching framework that you can follow. And then the net result is, you know, to become a regenerative developer. So what is a regenerative developer? We've coined an expression. We're trying to get beyond sustainability. And when we set out in 2018, we recognize sustainability is around doing less damage. It's around the least damage you do in the context of a large scale development. And doing less bad is not doing good. So how do we change the entire language? How do we change the entire targets for this destination? So we set ourselves a target of a 30% net conservation benefit post completion of the project in the operational phase. And that was informed by science. It was informed by fact. We engaged, the first partner we engaged in the project in late 2017 was the King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, based on the west coast of Saudi Arabia, KAUST as they're known. KAUST were the ones who baselined this enormous geography for us, particularly the coastline, particularly the coral, particularly the mangrove fringing we've got on the islands, the high value conservation part. And through a process of what was termed marine spatial planning, which was a massive simulation exercise of the future state, the future operational state of the project, it was identified we could achieve 30% net conservation benefit, and that's the target. That means more fish in the sea, more migratory birds, more indigenous species, more flora, more fauna, more mangroves, you know, acres and acres of more mangroves. And then we're looking currently at also coral enhancement. So we have a target for also enhancing the coral. So at the end of this huge scale development, the natural wild will be actually improved. The net conservation value will be significantly enhanced.
Remarkable development, and certainly meeting the aspirations of more than a few of the SDGs. So kudos to you for that accomplishment there. Mr. Shaheen, what key factors really need to be considered to help revolutionize the construction and building sector, and how do you see it evolving in the years ahead?
You know, according to the World Economy Forum, for the buildings in general should represent something like 40% out of the global carbon dioxide emission, where residential homes globally become the largest single source of greenhouse gas effect. Accordingly, we can see that a very good opportunity to reduce the carbon dioxide emission by applying the solutions of the smart homes and the green homes and the green buildings in general. We cannot expect this to change overnight. It's an action where it needs a kind of coordination across different angles, as I have been saying, between the private investments as well as the governments. Schneider Electric work with different partners across the Middle East on a specific to ensure buildings more resilient and energy efficient, future-proof, sustainable buildings. We have leveraged our EcoStruxure solutions, what we call building operation systems or building of the future, to ensure that we secure the exchange of data to have a smart home with green, less carbon dioxide emission, let's say, facilities. Where here we, with the latest technology appearing day after day, and how the full technology across the world should focus on giving such green buildings, this will achieve more our goal of saving our planet, let's say, for the future, ensure the net zero, ensure that the coming generations can have better life and better sustainable life. If we did not start now, I can see that the coming generations will really suffer, and it's our own responsibility. Or let's say that recently we saw the COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, in the region, in Middle East as well, focusing on the same goals, and how the full world and the whole government across the entire world are focusing on the same direction. So we feel always, as a technology provider, that it is one of our main duty to contribute on that, by ensuring we give the best solutions, by ensuring we propagate for it more, especially in the building side and the residential side, which, as said by the global assessments, it will cost 40% alone. This costs 40% out of the carbon dioxide emission. We can see in by coordination with investors, same like my colleague here from Red Sea, and what they are doing in having a sustainable city, let's say, a real renewable, pure renewable energy city. This is the what we aim to have across the different projects. And here we provide solutions which support such initiatives to ensure the same goal. So I believe putting us together today is moving on a direction where we two advocates of the same direction, a technology provider with a real advocate as well for sustainability and taking over the goal.
Absolutely. And during COP28 in the UAE this year, we will reflect back on what happened at COP27 in Egypt 2022, rather in 2023. And Mr. Williamson, could you elaborate on how RSG is developing tourism destinations that will pave the way towards eco-friendly travel while preserving and conserving the kingdom's natural and cultural heritage?
Yes, I think, we're a private sector entity wholly owned by PIF, who's the sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia. But as a private sector entity, we've embraced the requirement to get beyond words and take action. So I outlined some of the key initiatives we're taking as part of this regenerative development. And of course, there's a demand from it, from our guests who are luxury tourists and guests who are going to come to the destination when we open the first phase of it during 2023 and progressively over the coming 10 years. So over half of travelers now are more determined to take sustainable travel choices than they were a year ago, according to Booking.com. So travelers have this pent-up demand post-COVID, we've seen this massive rebound with tourism, but the tourism of a different nature, tourism that's not passive, it's a very active. The people are expecting to be able to read and understand before they make their booking what has been done in terms of the environment, what has been done in terms of managing climate change, what has been done in terms of regeneration as part of these projects, as part of that development activity. So that's very much baked into our ethos and the way we go around developing, not just at the Red Sea, but other destinations right across the west coast of Saudi Arabia. And I think culturally, this isn't a destination where, you know, we've got this incredible pristine land that's not being touched by mankind. You could be on an island, one of these 90 islands, of which 5 of which are developing in phase 1, not really knowing you're in Arabia. You can arrive at our new Red Sea International Airport, be whisked away by electric vehicle down to your destination, sit on a beach there and not really feel you're part of Arabia. So very important. We have the authenticity of reaching back into the local community, reaching back into the history and the culture, the archaeology of the whole destination. We've done a lot of work with the Ministry of Culture in a town that's just to the north of the Red Sea destination called Al Wedge, which is a very strong cultural center. And similarly to the south in Umludge, we've done a lot of reach back with the local community. We've set up cooperatives for the farmers. We've recently opened a souk that is now trading. It has 30,000 visitors have already arrived in the last month since we opened it. So we've reached out to the local community. We've got engagement. Clearly, we've employed a lot of the local community within the Red Sea Global Company. So of our contractors, so of our suppliers, but there's growing economic opportunity, which is very much part of why the Red Sea project exists. It's part of 2030 vision. It's part of generating jobs for locals, for Saudi nationals. It's partly generating billions of dollars, increased GDP, improving wealth and conditions of local people in Saudi Arabia. So we're very well advanced. We're 50% of the way through the phase 1 of the project. As I say, our first guest will be arriving shortly in the new year.
Wonderful, not just on the part of providing jobs and opportunities for Saudis, but it's also interesting that travelers are now driven by what we could refer to as a sustainability conscious, if I may. Mr. Shaheen, how is Schneider Electric enabling the transformation of existing buildings and infrastructure with the help of digital smart technologies?
Okay, it's simply based on kind of different directions. First, increase more the electrification. Focus more how to have a less carbon dioxide facility, less carbon dioxide emission facility in our buildings. Advocate more for the electrification solutions. The digital smart home now is the key. Usually, we always spoke about the energy efficiency and how to reduce the energy consumption, which is the slogan had been used before. Nowadays, we can say that reducing the energy, or the more energy management we can do to have a better efficient energy in our building, is the main road of the sustainability, because it's the double face of the same coin. As much as we reduce the energy consumption, as much as we reduce the carbon dioxide emission. So we can see that in the region, we have like a 4-stage net zero decarbonization strategy for buildings, where we are focusing on that with the government as well as the private sector. I don't want to go for a deep technical illustration as much as I say it from the framework. Those 4-stage net zero decarbonization strategy had been set with the Saudi government in a big applications to be set for all buildings by the government as well as the private sector, shall be the key to ensure the reduction of the carbon dioxide. The roadmap is designed to help the organizations of all kinds to define the success set targets, deploy the solutions, focus on how to sustain the result in their decarbonization programs and decarbonization journey.
So this must be done in stages, the details of which you won't reveal today, but hopefully at some point in the future we will learn about these 4 stages. Mr. Williamson, how are you harnessing digital technologies and data-driven approaches to not only minimize the impact on the environment, but also to boost efficiency?
Yes, look, we recognized at the outset of the project in mid-2017 that technology was going to play a huge part. You know, smart cities were becoming not quite a norm, but were emergent and starting to get traction across the Middle East. We coined this expression, smart destination, to describe, clearly it's not a city, we are building a community for 18,000 people at the Red Sea, but it's a dispersed destination. How does technology enable the guest experience? How does it bring us operational efficiencies? How does it give a unique, seamless experience from your initial booking and understanding your destination, understanding why you should come to the destination, right through to the arrival experience? So we have around over 40 interconnected smart services, smart buildings, smart utilities, smart retail, smart mobility. So it's a method of breaking down each element, each function of the destination, what makes it a special destination. How do we enable that with technology? But more importantly, how do they all interconnect, which is back to systems, all a central database for all systems to deposit information. And then all of these 40 plus services can draw data from those different assets. So I'll give an example, of a change from the arrival experience at the airport. So our airport, designed by Foss's and Partners out of London, is very unique. It's this is a relatively small airport with 1 million passengers a year. But how do we set it apart in terms of guest experience from your typical airport arrival? So you don't arrive and go through a tunnel, a poorly ventilated tunnel, a bridge that's brought up to the plane. You don't get on a bus. You arrive within the terminal itself. You go down the stairs. You're underneath the terminal building itself. You're whisked through with smart technology to scan you to avoid queuing, and get into our welcome center and be greeted and then whisked away to your destination within 10 minutes. So the target is 10 minutes from disembarkation from the plane to being greeted and curated with your chauffeur-driven electric car, or your seaplane or your helicopter off to your destination. So that's all around technology enabling it. Your luggage will be handled separately. So there's a smart luggage protocols where you don't see your luggage from your embarkation point until your arrival at your hotel. So you don't need to wait at the airport to be reconnected with your luggage. You can look at your app if you wish to check that your luggage has been whisked on its way to your destination, but it will arrive in your room the next time you see it. Conversely, when you leave the hotel, at the point of checkout of the hotel, you'll also be checking in for your flight. So the two processes acting together. So you're not checking in at the airport, you're checking in while you're at the hotel. Your bags are then taken away from you. They go through a special process, of course, with customs and the necessary checks and balances. But then the next time you'll see your bags is when you arrive back at home, your home airport, and get reconnected with your luggage. So there's a whole bunch of ways smart technology can enable an enhanced guest experience. And that's just taking one small example. On the utilities side and the energy side, we have a huge amount of metering facilities right across all the utilities. So we have this high visibility into consumption out of tolerance, and then we can take action in terms of added tolerance. We're putting a lot into environmental monitoring, sort of smart environmental monitoring. If you look at probably what's happened historically, and this would apply to our partners, KAUST as well, when the scientists go out, there's guys get dispatched on a boat, they come on a periodic basis, they take a series of samples, and then they go back to the university and do the analysis. We can gather that data live by the minute, by the hour, thousands and thousands of environmental monitoring points, and they all get sent back to a whole series of universities on a global basis who want access to that data. So live, dynamic, and it's a totally different explosion of knowledge, therefore, and data inputs being sent back to people to do that analysis and research. So, it's a huge area. It's consumed 3 or 4 years of effort to bring it to fruition. And of course, these systems are starting to get rolled out in the operational side that we've already implemented. About 250 assets are already in the operational phase on the Red Sea.
Well, 40 interconnected smart systems is an incredible undertaking, and it's almost worth a visit just to experience the efficiency with which the airport operates. So I hope to see you soon. Mr. Shaheen, how do public-private partnerships play a fundamental role in the development of smart, eco-friendly, and forward-looking urban spaces which focus on the well-being of the community? And how are you supporting this transition towards a greener and a sustainable future?
Yeah, we can see that the construction industry now is focused on the public-private partnerships, or what we call the PPP, where we always see this as a great opportunity to collaborate more with the private side as well as the public side. As I had been saying, it's a journey, and we really believe in the PPP approach. And Schneider Electric enforced that, and we put lots of partnerships across the kingdom and in the region, and namely in the kingdom where we are working now, with the size of the projects and the size of the investment output. PPP is taking a huge part of the story. In that side, it's become an opportunity and a win-win strategy with the government to advocate more for the sustainability, to advocate more for the electrification, to advocate more for the digitization, let's say, and how to be more smart. I believe we are lucky in the kingdom that we have a government which really believe in sustainability and putting the direction of smart cities, digitization, electrification as a big slogan. So one of our roles is to coordinate in that, and actually to take it as well to the private sector. Maybe in different countries you can find that you need to make it in the opposite direction, to take the private sector to convince the government to go in a certain way of transformation. However, we are in a country where the transformation is already led by the country itself, by the government. They have a clear vision on that. And this gives us the opportunity to develop more out of our solutions and to work definitely with all our power to ensure such kind of transformation. So, yeah, we are a company who really believe in the power of the PPP approach. We promote forward for that, and hopefully we can reach the goal of the net zero before the vision or the required date by 2060.
And we see sustainability weaved throughout the Saudi Vision 2030 and in myriad other initiatives in the kingdom. Mr. Williamson, why is it so important to build and design smart destination projects that will have a positive long-term impact on the future of the kingdom?
Yeah, look, we're pioneering in many of the areas, and the smart technology we're embracing. We've seen some very advanced systems being used across the Middle East, and particularly in the UAE. How do we go above and beyond that, this interconnectedness of systems? But, I've touched on this unique and seamless guest experience, this starting from your even pre-booking of your journey. This is where you can simulate the experience before you even book with digital twin technology. We've enforced BIM technology, building information modeling, as a basic tool now, really, in the construction industry, in the design and construction. So all of our assets are designed on BIM, all services, all disciplines, be it structural engineering, mechanical, electrical engineering, architecture, even interiors, landscaping is all brought into an integrated BIM model. That 3D model then allows you to do a digital twin, which is still evolving, still being developed. But the digital twin then allows you to simulate a whole bunch of operational conditions and to refine, enhance, and improve the whole technology environment that you've created. Clearly, you get operational efficiencies and cost savings for government, so you get efficient government. And then this whole real-time understanding of what's happening in the environment, what's happening in consumption, where waste is occurring, so you can intervene immediately on out of tolerance events. So I think Red Sea is going to be something not seen before, certainly in Saudi Arabia, and something that's going to set a standard for Saudi and the Middle East, and knowledge that we can export. Very much part of our chairman, the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, has always seen the destination and these giga mega projects has been an exporter of knowledge globally at completion, and we'll be delighted to share the journey of our smart and what went well, what didn't go so well, what we're enhancing, and what's setting us apart in terms of being a smart destination.
I'm sure many could learn from your vast experience. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your knowledge on these smart and sustainable buildings of the future. Also, a big thank you to all of the viewers joining us today. Goodbye.